What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are gonna be going over my handhelds. Yes, this is not a video game collection video, this is my hardware collection video. Now, I've been thinking of like how much stuff I should include in here, and you know, I was mulling it over a little bit and I figured, you know what, let's just try and go over everything and let's just see how this is gonna be. So, you know, I'm not too sure exactly where to start. I, quite frankly, have a lot of handhelds and a few different variants too. But yeah, the first thing, I think it's just the wisest to go from old stuff to new stuff. So let's begin with the original Game Boy. Yes, I have a very yellowed Game Boy here. You know, seen better days. You know, it's got some scratches on the screen. I think I can replace this actually. But yeah, the OG Game Boy. This, I actually didn't have that much experience with. I got it because it was cheap when I was younger. I think I was like 12 when I got this in like 2010. And they didn't really want much for it. As you can see, the yellowing on the casing is very apparent when you like look at the side. But the back is the original color scheme, which is, yeah, it's neat. I would kind of like to get a new example just to, you know, have a cleaner plastic on the front. But, you know, at the same time, do I care that much? It's not something that I would play much anyway. I barely played this thing when I was younger, so, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this is how it presents itself. Yeah, I have a nice memory of this when I was in school. I brought this to school to show my teacher, and she was like, "Oh, that's so neat! I used to have one of those. I played Tetris on it." And I impressed all the teachers there. The kids were mildly impressed, but they were like, "I got a DS. I don't care." So, you know, it was neat for a day that I owned it, but, you know, what did I play on this, really? Zool, Tetris, and that's about it, really. I don't really have that many Game Boy games, but yeah, that was my experience with the Game Boy. Next up, I have the GB Boy Color. Now, what the hell is a GB Boy Color, you may ask? This is a Chinese knockoff Game Boy Color, which had a backlit screen. As you can see, it doesn't say Nintendo, it says Kongfeng, with the F and the E having quite a gap between them. But that aside, the handheld itself is pretty solid, actually. You might think, oh yeah, it's a Chinese knockoff, who cares? This is way better than playing on an actual Game Boy Color because it has a backlight. Like, just straight up, just because of that one factoid alone, this is better than the actual official thing. So yeah, if you want to play like Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, this is what I would recommend, honestly. It can't play Game Boy Advance games, I'm pretty sure. Also, the screen is kind of mucky. Gotta clean that off at some point. That's kind of my initial reasoning as to why I did this video in the first place. I was thinking of like cleaning off all those handhelds because they were getting dusty in the cabinet. I keep them kind of on display in my figurine cabinet. Like, I have like anime figures and game figures and like knickknacks. And on the bottom shelf, I have my handhelds, and this is down there as well. But yeah, GB Boy Color, pretty neat, and pretty cheap usually too. I'm not sure if these are like still as accessible as they used to be. Also, Color spelled UK way. Usually Game Boy Color is spelled in the American way, but you know, this is a bootleg, so who cares? But yeah, cool little piece of tech. I think the aspect ratio isn't exactly the same as the original hardware though, but you know, you can explain that to me if you're familiar with it. Next up, we have, let's just go by system, I suppose, at this rate, or by the company. Here we have the Game Boy Advance. Now, I have a few of these. So this is the original model, and this is actually modded to have a backlight. It doesn't have a battery mod, which I was thinking of installing in this thing, but so far it's just a normal battery thing. I got it off of eBay like years ago. And you can actually adjust the brightness of the screen with a combination of, I think, Select and LNR, though I have been trying to do that recently and it wasn't working, so I'm not sure if it's busted now or whatever, but it's still a bright screen and it's really cool. It's probably the best way of playing Game Boy Advance games just because of the form factor. This feels the best to hold, and I have a large love for the Game Boy Advance. It was one of my earlier handhelds that I owned. As you can see, I have some complete in-box copies of some very cool games for the Game Boy Advance back here. So, Chain of Memories, the game Sonic Advance 3, Tales of Fantasia. Two of these I haven't played really yet. I really want to play this and this on stream at some point. I really love Tales of games, and this is like the only one I haven't played, or one of the only ones. And this version of Chain of Memories I haven't played. I've played Re Chain of Memories, but you know, yeah, playing all this stuff on this Game Advance feels great. Honestly, like, no, I've never felt like regretful for buying this this handheld. It was a little expensive because it was modded, but it was cool. And it's a cool little shell. It fits my GB Boy color. Anyways, next up we have, yeah, let's stick with Nintendo for now. Next up we have the original DS. Yes, the original DS, the one that gets hate a lot for being weird. It's got a very weird like shape, but it plays Game Boy Advance games, so it's got that going for it. And I actually have a pink stylus to go with it. When I was buying it, I got it used at a retro game store. I think it was like in 2013-ish, somewhere like that. And I remember they were like, this was just on the counter, and they were like, oh, we just got this as a trade-in. And I'm like, how much do you want for it? And they were like, I think like £10 or something. They really didn't care, because this was the original model. Everyone wanted the newer models. And I was like, sick, sold. Okay, I want it. Because there was like a lot of DS games that I really wanted to play. And I actually have quite a little collection of DS games now. But yeah, this was an elusive handheld for me, because I really wanted one. Because it had like Sonic Rush Adventure, which I really wanted to play. It had a freaking Mario DS, like Mario 64 DS, which I was very enamored by whenever my friends were playing it at school. And I was just like, damn, I really want this handheld. And you know, eventually I got it, and I think I got it with a copy of Chinatown Wars GTA, and that was a kind of a mid game, I'll say. But yeah, let's pop that sucker open, show you guys what the insides look like. Yeah, so it's seen better days, I'm sure, but you know, it's not the nastiest condition you could find one of these in. Yeah, I still kind of sometimes use it just for funsies, and you know, I know that the hinges on these things often like to break, but thankfully mine hasn't. So you know, I take care of my stuff. But yeah, that was the DS. Next up, I actually don't have any more DSs, or at least the regular DSs to show you, because I never really collected those so intently. Next up, we have the 3DS. Yes, the original 3DS. I got this for $15 actually. I got this in Japan. This is the Japanese model. So it plays Japanese games, which is very cool. I can play my imports on this thing if I wanted to. I don't have to mod my DS to do that. But yeah, this is a very nifty thing, as you can see, all in Japanese on the bottom. And yeah, the reason why this was $15 was because it's I got this from not a game store. I got it from like a anime figurine and merch store that just happens to have this in the cabinet. They were like, we don't really sell video games, so yeah, that's the reason why it was so cheap. And funnily enough, it works beautifully. There was never any issues with it when I was playing on it. So yeah, this is just a cool example of an OG DS in blue. And it had some games installed on it as well. If I recall, it has Animal Crossing New Leaf, and I think a Japanese, specifically Tokyo RPG GPS game of some sort. I don't remember what it was called. I don't think this is charged either. Will it turn on? No, it's not charged. I haven't charged this thing in a long time, because I haven't really been needing I haven't been feeling the need of playing any Japanese DS games lately. I have quite a few actually. I've been actually wanting to give the Dragon Quest XI 3DS version a whirl recently, because I do own that too. But yeah, this specifically is a neat thing, especially considering these have been getting rarer in the past few months. At least I've heard that the DSs are just getting more expensive. I don't necessarily... Well, I understand why. It's the current nostalgia thing, right? The kids who grew up with them are now adults, right? And they're reliving their childhood. So in that sense, I understand, but, you know, I don't know. Next up is... where is it? Another 3DS. This is my new 3DS XL. Yes, this is my... what's in here, actually? What do I have in here? Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Yeah, I've been playing that recently, actually. This is charged, actually, but, you know, I won't be turning it on because that's not the point. But yeah, it's a nifty little piece of hardware. I remember it didn't come with a charger, which was a bit annoying, but, yeah, it's a handheld that still gets a lot of use from me, personally. Germany? What? Why? Why is this manufactured in Germany? No way. But yeah, neat little system. I've had a big passion for this console in particular. I don't know. I've really enjoyed playing on my DS lately, more than before. And yeah, I want to show off a little bit of the inside, which is like this. I've always found this nub to be weird, and also I don't play enough new 3DS games for this to have any use whatsoever, so, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, the nipple analog stick, you know, kind of weird, but it actually did kind of work. I played all of Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on this thing, and it was good. I remember getting this from my insurance in 2016, like a little rundown. In 2016, my house got burgled, and my initial video game collection got stolen, so, or at least a chunk of it, and a big chunk of it was my handhelds, because I kept it all in one drawer, and I guess they just sort of dunked the entire drawer into a bag or something. So, yeah, my DS, my 3DS, my 3DS and my PSP and PS Vita, I think, at the time, got robbed, and yeah, I had to get a new one, and it was an upgrade, because the original one that I had, the original DS I had, was just this box standard Aqua launch model, so, you know, I'd say I won there in terms of getting something out of that, you know, minus the trauma that I received from it. But yeah, was that the last of handhelds from Nintendo? Of course not, because I have one last thing, and that is the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, not really much to show off here. It's got quite a bit of love over the years, though I will say, I've never really been the biggest fan of the Switch. You know, I play the handhelds, or the games that are exclusive to it, whenever they dropped. Past tense, this is not the current system anymore. But yeah, it's got its love, and as you can see, it if I can actually, you know, get it closer here, it's actually cracked. So this back panel isn't actually fully secured, like it bounces back a little bit. I think that's because I had it really tight in my suitcase when I was going abroad. I think when I was coming back from Japan for the first time in like 2020, just before COVID hit, or just before like country was closed for COVID, I was coming back, and I think I just crammed too much stuff in my suitcase, and, you know, that's just something that happened. But yeah, it's you know, it still works. It's still perfectly fine. So yeah, you know, everyone knows what a Nintendo Switch looks like, so I'm not gonna go over it too much. So yeah, let me just stop moving on from Nintendo stuff. Actually, I've completely missed two things. I'm stupid. Here's my Game Boy Advanced SP, a silver one. I got this for $5 from a kid in school who needed cigarette money. He was like, "Oh, you like video games? What? I have a... What are you, a gay boy? Game Boy Advanced." Actually, speaking of, I have a Game Boy Advanced. Do you want to buy one? I could use some cigarette money. And I was like, of course, I would love to buy a Game Boy Advanced for you. So yeah, I got this thing. And also, this everything I said wasn't an exaggeration. This was like verbatim kind of how that conversation went. But yeah, as you can see, very torn up, very beat up. That kid really didn't take care of his stuff. But you know, this was my original experience with the Game Boy Advanced. And yeah, it was neat. The problem with this model, though, is that, you know, besides being hella beat up, the backlight never worked. I don't know how to fix it. Maybe one day I will. But, you know, it's not that big a deal. I just had it under the light like this, next to the window, and just sort of played it like that, like the old model Game Boy Advances. But yeah. Next up, we have another Game Boy Advanced SP. I got this after the other one because I really wanted the backlight. And yeah, nothing really different about that compared to the other one besides it's just being black. I remember the seller for this. I also had to cut up the corner here because it was like unsticking. But yeah, I remember the seller for this said, "Oh yeah, the Game Boy doesn't charge." So what I did was I unscrewed the back, took the battery out, put it back in, and it worked. So I don't know what he was talking about. I guess he didn't really check too intensely to see if it was an easily remediable situation. So yeah, Game Boy Advanced SP. Man, these gloves really do leave stains on this stuff. I don't know why. But yeah, just Game Boy Advanced. I got a lot of use out of this, because funnily enough, this also came with a lot of bootlegs that I still have in my collection, because I can't really get rid of them, because they're bootlegs. Bootlegs Game Boy Advance games, like, I think one of the games was Barbie, the Prince and the Pauper, or something, and another game was Winnie the Pooh, Rumbly Tumbly Adventure, and also, there was another game, which was SpongeBob SquarePants Light Camera Pants. Now, none of those games I would give a shit about, because I never really cared about licensed video games that much, or at least especially stuff like SpongeBob. I'm not Scott the Woz, but I did like stuff like Harry Potter, which I actually, funnily enough, do own. You know, a complete copy of all the Harry Potter games for the Game Boy Advance. This is just an example of one of them, but yeah, I have like all three, or all four of those. But yeah. That was Game Boy Advanced, and that wraps up our Nintendo section, so this doesn't conclude the video, you know, I'm not that shallow. I have a ton more to show, so let me put that to the side. But yeah, this has gone pretty quickly, actually, so I guess I don't have that much to say. What do I move on to? Let's start knocking out some little ones before we move on to Sony, I guess. Here is Game Gear. Yes, this console gets a lot of hate from Nintendo folks because they were like, "It's not the Game Boy. I grew up with the Game Boy. This sucks. This uses 6 AA's," which it does. But you know what? I think this thing is neat. I think it has some cool games on it, and I really like all the Sonic games that came out on it. I have not that many games for it. This is actually one of my most recent console pickups from last year. Yeah, I think like. No, I got this in 2024, but yeah, this is one of the most recent consoles I got, alongside the Master System. I think I got it in the same year, and yeah, this is a pretty neat little piece of tech. I genuinely, if you've never had a Game Gear and you find for a working one for a nice price, I'm highlighting the fact that, you know, you need a working one, get it. But yeah, these things are super finicky and apparently really like to break. This is a model that I thankfully fished out and on eBay, and it was fine. Nothing really. There's not really any issues with it when I'm playing it. So it's like a example of a good working model. But this console likes to break in a lot of elements. I think one of the things that likes to break is the speaker. Another thing that likes to break is the screen. And in general, it's just a mess to keep in good condition, apparently. But you know, at the same time, maybe a lot of the kids that owned it were just snotty kids who didn't really take care of their tech. I don't know. But yeah, mine works, and it's a fun little big ass piece of tech. But you know, I think this is cool, and it gets too much hate. But I think Sega only released that one handheld. Do I have any other Sega handhelds? No. So next up we have, yeah, let's do all the weird ones. Let's do all the weird ones right now. Let's do the Wonder Swan. Yes, the Wonder Swan color. This is the Final Fantasy edition, as you can see, with the Hero of Light from Final Fantasy 1 on the top of the screen. This actually came in a Final Fantasy 2 variant as well, and I think there might have been a Final Fantasy 4 version as well. But yeah, this system is very neat. I don't actually have that many games for it. I think I have like a little stack, but I've played a little bit of Final Fantasy 1 on it, a little bit of an Inuyasha game, and I think I have a Hunter x Hunter game on it as well. Yeah, I have like a lot of random stuff on it. I think there's like a Tekken game on it. Yeah, there's a Tekken game. I'm looking at the side here. I have a Densha the Go game, an Evangelion game. Oh shit, my no. Oh, it fell behind my oh, whatever. I'll get it later. I have a Gundam game. 2 Gundam games, actually. There's a Chocobo Racing game. So yeah, this had quite a lot of weird stuff on it. But yeah, it's a cool little piece of tech. The box it came with is right here. I have the whole shebang. But yeah, I took it out of here. I usually keep it in here, to be honest, because it's like a nicer display piece. But it's a really, really neat box, actually. But yeah, it wasn't that much when I was in Japan. So you know, anytime you want to get one of these, or like a Japanese system like this, don't get it off of eBay. Just get it when you're in Japan. These are so much cheaper when you're on site. But yeah, it's a nifty little piece of tech. The cartridge really sticks out like on the back. You can see the whole like cartridge like cover here. I guess you can, when you're out and about, this was their way of advertising their games. Like, ooh, look what I'm playing. Ooh, the passerbys can actually see the game, I guess. But yeah, you can actually play this game in vertical mode as well, like this. That's why this has 2 D-pads basically. And yeah, it was a neat little piece of tech. This actually did apparently pretty well in Japan, but you know, obviously never released in the West, which I think it should have. I think it might have had a chat at maybe being a little popular. I know that the next thing we're going to be talking about was a little popular in the UK and nowhere else. So next up we have the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I love this analog stick, dude. It's so clicky and so nice. But yeah, I really love this this handheld. It's I spent a decent amount of time on this playing around with this thing. I got it quite a few years ago now, but yeah, it's one of my favorite handhelds. That is so underappreciated. Look how premium this thing looks. It's all silver. Look at all these things. And yeah, I mean, one of the most notable games on this thing is Sonic Pocket Adventure, which is a very good, really good Sonic game actually. A bit of a remake of Sonic 2, really, but yeah, cool thing. I need to really collect more things, more games for this thing, because I genuinely love it a lot. But you know, it's hard to come by any games for this thing. But it's probably easier for me than it is for a lot of you if you're not from the UK. Because in the UK, this handheld actually did it quite decently. So it was around on the market a little longer than it was in the States, and well, probably did the best in Japan. But yeah, in the UK, it did apparently okay. And Stickity Slice, one of you know, my YouTube friends, I guess, or just social media acquaintances, he apparently likes this handheld quite a lot as well. So you know, if you're watching this, dude, you just share your experiences if you feel like it. But it's fine if not. Okay, so what's the next thing we have that's weird? Should I do the? I feel like it. Okay, let's do. Okay, this doesn't really count, but here it is. The Pocket Station for the PlayStation 1. This is more of an accessory than a handheld, but it still kind of, sort of counts, right? So yeah, this is the Pocket Station, and this is compatible with quite a few games, like Final Fantasy VIII, most notably, where you can raise your chocobo on your PlayStation VMU, basically. Come on, raise. I'm trying to open this thing. This opens from the side, but it's kind of awkward with gloves. There we go. Yeah, this opens up like so, and you can jam it into your PS1 memory card slot and put your save files on there. Very nifty little piece of tech. It's still referenced in PlayStation Media today, actually, with stuff like Astrobot. I think this is like a tutorial thing you can like smack in the game, and it tells you like what bots you got or something. I don't actually remember. Yeah, it comes with like a cool little lanyard, so you can put it around your neck or something. Well, it's too small to put it around your neck, but you can put it around your hand or something. And yeah, it's got a little speaker too. Yeah, they didn't really mess around with this thing too much, but it's a cool little thing. And in the same vein, I guess I'll bring this up, because when the hell else am I going to talk about this thing? This is the Tamagotchi Evangelion edition. Yeah. I don't really know what to say about this, but yeah, I've never actually busted this thing out, but yeah, I can like slide this out and take it out, because I have taken this out before, but I kind of like keeping it in its original packaging. I have it hanging on my wall usually, and yeah, it's I'm guessing it's just a game, like it's just a Kaoru raising simulator, I guess, to raise your Kaoru. I think there were like versions for like all Evangelion characters, and yeah, it's a Tamagotchi. It's pretty small though. I think the Tamagotchis you can get nowadays are a bit larger, so you know, a bit of an older model, because this was like to commemorate one of the movies, I think. But you know, it was a neat thing to pick up, and it wasn't that expensive. All right. So the weird stuff is, I think, out of the way. Oh, I forgot to bring out the Dreamcast VMU, but you guys know what a Dreamcast VMU is. I don't need to show you guys that. Okay, so next up I have... Okay, let's do the let's do the Sony stuff. Let's do the Sony stuff, and let's finally start getting this out of the way. Start wrapping things up. Okay, so here is my Hannah Montana PSP. So I have a bit of a quirky story about this one. I got it from a girl in college, in art college, back when I was still attending there. I was mentioning how, oh, this was shortly after my house got burgled, by the way. I was like, oh, I wish I still had my PSP. I really want to play my PSP games. And she was like, yo, I have my PSP still. It's under my bed. You can just have it. And so next day, she just brings this and gives it to me. I'm like, yo, this is like the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. Thank you so much. I don't know why she did that. You know, very nice of her, though. As I said, it's a little beat up, but, you know, I think this is very quaint and very cool. It's missing the memory card compartment, though, so that's a little annoying, but, you know, it's whatever. I think it opens up... Oh, yeah, it's a sliding thing, so, you know, it opens up like that. But I can't just pull it out, right? Yeah, I can't just... Oh, wait, this isn't the... Yeah, this is the LAN stuff. This is the... Okay, so... On other PSP models, this switch would just open this, but on this model, you can just pull it open, and I don't really like that because it feels less, the integrity of the handheld feels in flux, basically. But yeah, it's a cool little variant. It's very skinny though for a PSP. I never had the 2000 model, but this is a 2000 model. Oh, this is a 3000. Okay, this is a 3000 model PSP. So yeah, I don't have a 2000. I kind of really wanted to hook this up to a TV because this has an output for it, but I never got it to work. It never worked. I guess the port is probably busted or something. I need a new PSP for that. But yeah. Next up, we have the other PSP that I own. So this is the PSP 1000 that I got afterwards, actually. Because I wanted a 1000 because these felt more sturdy, you know? That, and this is actually the Japanese model of the PSP 1000, which apparently had better screens. So I felt like this was a better deal. And you know what? I think I just prefer this. I think the original model of the PSP is just superior to every other model that came out afterwards. And you know, I got quite a bit of mileage out of this. I just have a just standard black one because that was stolen, obviously. Oh, the battery's protruding a little bit more for some reason. Whatever, let's not think about that for now. But yeah, bit yellowed on the memory card compartment, and yeah, what I was talking about with the cartridge, or not cartridge sub, the UMD slot is that this slider on this model pops this open. I feel like this is cooler. Pulling it open, feel like I'm breaking it, you know. But yeah, cool model, cool PSP. I haven't used this in a minute, but it is hacked, I'm pretty sure. And I have quite a big PSP collection, which I do want to show off. At some point, I have one game sticking out here. It's the Legend of Heroes, I think 4? It's Hero of Vermilion. I think this is Legend of Heroes 4, but I can't be for certain. I don't actually know much about the Legend of Heroes prior to Trails in the Sky, but, you know, that's not the video talking about that. This is the video talking about my handhelds. But yeah, I really love the PSP. That's what I grew up with, and I had a lot of PSP games from the get-go because my father got me a whole set of the PSP off of Gumtree. Yeah, does anyone use Gumtree anymore? But yeah, he got it off of Gumtree, and it had like a whole box of games. Like it was like Sonic Rivals, Star Wars Battlefront, some Medal of Honor game. I had a lot of stuff with it. And yeah, it got quite a lot of mileage out of me. People like Scott the Woz shit on this thing profusely. I think if you didn't grow up with it, you just don't get it, you know? And I think you have some misconceptions. This did better than a lot of consoles out there. This did like 85 million, man. This did crazy numbers. I'm like, oh, it did piracy. Motherfucker, the DS had the R4 cards. Nobody had legal DS games. So stop talking out of your ass, please. Okay, next up we have... Oh, is this it? Okay, this is gonna be the final thing we're gonna be talking about, and here is the PlayStation Vita, my beloved. I also have a PS Vita TV, but that doesn't really count. But yeah, PS Vita, one of my favorite handhelds of all time, and actually one of my biggest collections in my game collection room. I have like over 100 games for this thing. and you can check out all of them in my backlog, I guess. And I might do a video showing them all off soon. But yeah, this thing, whoa, what a pristine, what a beautiful piece of tech. Genuinely, this console is probably one of the coolest consoles ever made. The slickest thing ever made, for sure. It just feels so premium. Even to this day, I feel like I'm holding like a very expensive piece of tech, you know? This feels like a sports car of video games, you know? And, you know, I still get mileage out of my PS Vita. I need to go back to playing Tales of Innocence R on my PS Vita TV, actually. But my for that, I need to inject a fan translation through a hack, and that hack has broke on my PS TV, so I might need to wipe that card and do a hack again. I'm not really too familiar with the technicalities of the PS Vita hacking, but you know, I don't know how to fix it. So if you're a PS Vita hacking expert, please do reach out to me and try help fix my PS TV. I don't know how to fix it. I want to salvage my saves at least, you know. And I think I can do that by just popping it into this Vita and just transferring over to the PS3, and that should work that way. But yeah, PS Vita, my beloved. Actually, the rarest game I own in my game collection is a Vita game. I own Asterisk War Phoenix Festa, the English release of that game. I own that. So I think that's the most expensive game I own in general. I think that's like worth half a grand or something. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's gone in price since. But, you know, that game's never going to get remastered or anything, so it's going to stay rare, and it's just going to stay rotting on the Vita, probably. Last minute addendum, because I forgot to include this, and I knew I'd forget something. I have this Game Gear Micro console from Sega. Funny, I was doing Game Gear itself, but I forgot the mini that they released, so yeah, it's this is the external case or box for it. It comes with Last Bible and Last Bible Special, as well as I think Shinobi and Columns. So yeah, I got this version just because I'm a Megami Tensei fan, of course. So, you know, I felt like it was the most appropriate to get the Megami Tensei Game Gear. Okay, I'll wait a second. Okay, yeah, I got it out. Okay, little snippet here. Okay, here is how it presents itself. Yeah, here is the thing in plastic. I never really take this out. I've played it like maybe twice, and it's a neat little keychain accessory more than anything. It's super mega tiny, and yeah, it's just a Game Gear that includes like 4 games. I'm sure you can hack it to add more, but why would you want to? This is just like a neat oddity more than anything. But it's a cool little thing. The battery compartments in the back, I think at least. Yeah, this is like mini batteries that it requires. Better than the 6 AA's, I suppose. But yeah, it's a cool little thing. If you're a fan of the Sega Game Gear, it's a neat little thing. It works, you know, it works by all means. But you know, it's not the optimal way of playing these games. So you know, this is more so just for the collector's sake. But anyways, I'll probably cut out the ending of the main portion, so I'll say it again. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and join my Discord. Please, I would eternally appreciate all 4 of those. But if you don't feel like it, that's, I guess, fine. You know, can't please everybody. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. And yeah, I hope to see you guys tonight during stream, and in general next time I post. So yeah, take care of yourselves and see you later.